This video will address different ways to conduct a class. Most traditional is the lecture format, where the teacher stands in front of the students and administers a test. This is very directed with the teacher, and it works best with tight bell schedules where you don't have a lot of time. It's also good for arranging students in a manner that the teacher sees fit, pairing students next to students that work well together, either because they're on the same ability level or because one student helps another student. Another way to arrange a classroom is in a group format, and you can group your students by ability level. You can randomly group them, or you can let them group themselves. In this role, the teacher walks around and monitors that the students are on task on whatever the group project happens to be, and the teacher often will give a worksheet to make sure that the students are directed in their tasks. You can also break it out into paired groupings where students share their work with each other and compare side by side the same assignment to make sure they're on the same task. Student leaders can also take over a classroom to talk about what's best for them for the day.
Our high school journalism class is made up of 10th through 12th graders and is not as structured as a traditional classroom experience. Students are motivated mostly by their audience and by trying to produce genuinely interesting newspaper and not necessarily by grades themselves. Um, while grades are a portion of it, students are focused on their work and on their learning because it genuinely interests them and not essentially by that grade portion of the class.
In a student newspaper classroom, each section, pages 1 through 20, is already predetermined for its content. Each section has two editors who work together to create the section, such as news, editorials, or sports. The students share a common computer, and they work together from the beginning of the process to do their layout and design. They all share a common laboratory space in which students can communicate about the status of their stories. Students work in teams to talk about who's taking the photos, who's writing the story, and who is going to post it to the page. Student leaders are assigned to monitor the workflow and progress of each section. Some students will lead whole class instruction, beginning with taking attendance to setting the goals for the day, what are the objectives that we want to complete, and then some students will use the textbooks available in the classroom to help learn new skills such as video editing.
Okay, learning in this environment here at A-Blast is really cooperative. Everybody really works together, and in order to get a great paper, we all have to teach each other the fundamentals of what we need to do. The photographers teach each other how to take pictures, the writers help each other with their writing, editors cooperate. We just all kind of work together in this lab to make sure that we have the best product possible. And we set up our lab, so the staff writers are on the computers along the sides and in the middle on the edges, and the editors are in the middle section on the computers, and then in the corner is where the editor-in-chief and the managing editor sit, and as you can see back there, so staff writers are with the managing editor right now learning how to use Google Docs, and
Here, the editor-in-chief confers with page editors to make sure that they are on task. The role of the teacher in this classroom setting is minimized. The teacher coaches the particular students to lead each other. Students work in teams, they gather around the computers to learn about video editing, where the teacher is not necessarily working one-on-one. The student leaders are training each other. In a classroom setting, I often give instruction about what the goals are for the day. I tell editors and I tell the entire class what to expect for that day. For example, today we might be working on our leads, or we might be working on taking better photos. And in this whole class instruction, I then prepare them to go work in our publications lab in groups and in pairs. And here's where they get the work done. I am their coach, and then they go take pictures, and they go edit copy, write stories, and confer with each other. Very often, one student will read another student's story to them. They will edit together and share their work and make sure that there are no mistakes. And they will actually read their stories aloud to each other to make sure they've got the best kinds of content for the student newspaper. The role of the teacher is to give students guidance so that they can complete the newspaper and the tasks on their own.